Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Munro Live. I'm here with Andrew and his new ride, a Silverado. We haven't had a chance to see one of these. GM has been very reluctant to let us look at them. Pretty much everybody else, BMW, Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, who knows? But we can't get anything from GM. So I heard that this is your upgrade from the Bolt.
Yeah, so back in 2019 I purchased the Bolt.
Yeah.
And when the truck came out, within the first 10 minutes I reserved and waited for a little over 2 years to get it. And
holy mackerel.
Yeah, really happy it's here. It's driven it for over 1,500 miles now.
Yeah.
And I've taken it now a couple states, and it's doing well. My dream is to eventually have like a little truck bed camper on the back and then go out west and go camping.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've driven out west in the Bolt, and it took 4 days to get across, and this one I'd hoping to get cut that down significantly.
Yeah, maybe to 1.5 days. This has got a huge battery from, well, I don't know, which battery have you got in it?
This is the RST, so it's got pretty much everything.
Yeah.
It's got over 200 kilowatts, and it's essentially 3 times larger than the Bolt.
Yeah.
And it's about half as efficient. So with the Bolt, I only get 250 miles. With this one, it's 450.
Yeah.
And I've almost driven the full 450. So started at the full, pretty much it was 97% when I left. And then by the time that I drove to visit my sister and then go back home, I drove 400 miles, and then there was 50 miles left on the battery odometer rating. So
yeah.
it's living up to everything I dreamed it was. And
Cool.
The only downside is they paraded this around in the blue at like the Detroit auto shows, but it's still a good looking black. But
No, I like black better. I think this thing looks red hot. I haven't had a chance to review any of them, but I have looked at them, and I do like the styling and whatnot. I like actually the little flare in the back. We'll walk around a little bit, but I like the flaring in the back. It adds a little pizzazz, and it harkens back to a long time ago when General Motors had
the Avalanche.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it gives you that. So have you towed anything with it?
I haven't towed with it. I've pressed the tow haul button, and you can see the range drop down in half. But
Yeah.
I've watched other YouTubers. They've towed with it, so I got a rough idea of what it's capable of. But I'm not really a truck person. I'm now a truck person because of it. I'm more of an EV enthusiast.
Yeah.
So now getting into the truck world, I've pulled bikes on the back with a trailer, but that's not really towing.
No. I was looking for maybe something with a couple of 1,000 pounds or something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like a trailer or something. So, just out of curiosity, does this have a frunk?
It does, yeah.
Wow. Wow. What do we got here for this one? So it looks like similar. Maybe that one's a little bit bigger from an eyeball standpoint, but still plenty big. Whoops, still plenty big.
Yeah, the Lightning definitely has a bigger bed, and it also has the ice chest. This also does have a drain down here, but
that's
unless you have a small container, it doesn't have too much. And
well, yeah, what do you call it? The thing I like about this truck is I used to work for a living, and having something like this with something where you can everybody can have a beer at the end of the day and stuff like that is really kind of handy. I like that. You got 3 sensors in the front. Does this have a LiDAR as well?
I don't know about LiDAR. It does have Super Cruise. I've used it. It's pretty reliable. Every once in a while, there'll be a little bit of jittery in like the perfect worst case scenario, you'll get a little bit of jittery with the wheels.
Yeah.
And if you're going like between two sharp bends, sometimes it overcorrects on the second, or it doesn't correct enough on the second bend because it doesn't see it in advance. But
Yeah.
it does automatic lane changes, and
Cool.
it will slow down if the traffic is increasing and they're going slower than you. And
Well, one of the things I'm really pissed off is I have nothing like that in my Cybertruck. I like Blue Cruise to a point. I haven't obviously I haven't tried this vehicle here, but if you say it's working, I believe you. The one thing I do like on the Cybertruck that these guys better think seriously about is the ability to have rear wheel steering. Holy mackerel, what a difference!
this does have rear wheel steer.
Yeah.
It doesn't crab walk like the Hummer,
Yeah.
but it will increase the turning radius with the rear steer. And with the camera, which we'll see later, it has two lane markers, one for the front,
Yeah.
one for the back. So you
That's
can
a
kind
good
of
idea. Yeah.
see where it's going. And without it, I wouldn't be able to back this into the driveway as well as get into the garage. I have a really
really?
tight turn.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to make it with the truck. And it's, yeah, the rear steer is a bit of a game changer, especially coming from a Bolt. I'm used to
Yeah.
a small, tiny little car. And now this takes up more than some parking spaces.
Yeah.
That big.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm very careful now if I'm driving that. That one's not so bad because it's narrower, but that Cybertruck is a beast. That's what they call it, and that's a fact too. So I've been looking at the gapping and whatnot. General Motors, without a question of a doubt, knows how to make a car, and or a truck, and the gaps. Well, even a black car is the harder to see. White is where, if there's a gap problem, it shines like a a diamond in a goat's ass. So this one here though is, I mean, I think it's remarkably good.
This also has the multifunction tailgate as well, which it makes it a lot easier getting up into the bed. So not only can you, yeah, drop this down, but then
Yeah, you've got the fold-out part.
Yep.
Yeah,
fold up, as well as it kicks down as a step.
yeah, as a step. Yeah, yeah. I've been just using the wheels to catch a break. Oh wow.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty easy to one-hand operation, roll it back.
Yeah. Well.
But
The fancy stuff that we had on the Rivian had a lot of problems. The Cybertruck so far no problems, but we we scrimped on that. We didn't buy anything extra. It's a work truck. It's nothing.
yeah,
Nothing but a work truck.
yeah, this does have the Pro Power, or I don't know if it's Pro Power on board, but the equivalent setup.
Yeah. So your 220 lines look a little bit different than what I was expecting to see. So
Yep.
do you have air compressors? Do you have air here
Not
as well?
a outlet for it,
Ah.
but there is one for the air ride, but
Yeah.
there's not a specific out. I believe the Hummer does have one, but
That's one
not
thing I
air.
liked on the Rivian was the fact that I could plug in an air compressor in one, and that's handy again for construction. If you, if you're especially brats or something like that, or what do they call those things? Anyways, an air gun for shooting
Roofing and-
roofing. Well, not so much roofing, but making decks and whatnot, firing in 3-inch spikes and whatnot. Then that's really a handy tool or a handy thing to have. Yeah. So have you tried? Does this reverse charge? Does this like charge the house, or have you tried charging anything?
It is capable of
using-
doing that, but not where I'm at. So when I was going through the process of ordering it, GM Energy, they reached out and they actually included with the truck, because I was one of the first people
Yeah,
to get it. They
yeah.
sent the charger.
Yeah.
But in order to get to backfeed into the house, you need another box. And
Yeah.
where I'm located, the last I talked with them, they didn't have the deal with my state. And so they were working through it, and I haven't reached out yet. Right now, I'm a little short on funds, so I don't have the...
Well, after buying this.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much did this go for anyway?
So sticker price, it was 96, and then after taxes, everything, it ended 105. So.
Oh wow, you've got a lot more fancy here than that thing.
Yep.
That was like I think it was 68 or something like that out the door. But I must say it looks like it's built really well. I don't think I've ever seen this kind of it looks like Tough Coat, but I could be wrong. But it's really, I really like this. This is really kind of rugged. So am I looking at a pass-through there?
Yeah, so that's the mid-gate. We can go in and drop it down.
I'd like to see that.
First, you need to pull up that connection, and then down here low,
Yeah.
pull that, and then this drops down.
Yeah.
And then
And that's good. It looks like a real full flat, or close to it anyway.
And then next, you can either press this button here and then just this section will drop out. Or if you, so right above your head, pull that latch, then the window gets caught by there. If you push that right past the latch, there's right here.
Oh, here I see
Yeah,
it.
so push that and then the window will drop down.
Okay.
And then we can pick this up.
Oh, you can take it out.
Yep, and then it rests right.
Oh, I see.
Behind
Oh,
here.
clever. Gotta have long arms.
Yep.
There we go. Good.
So now once it's locked, you also have a couple of locks here on the side.
Oh, that's a lot of locks.
Yep. And so now when you push this, the whole bed will come down.
I love it.
So then you have the
This
full
is a
access.
really good idea. And I like this cross car beam here to keep it from scratching, and I like that too. So this is well thought out. How much distance we got here with the tailgate down? This must be about 12 feet.
So with the
10 feet.
tailgate
Anyway.
up, it's a almost 6-foot bed, I believe.
Yeah.
Up to here, it's 10 foot. And if you multi-flex the tailgate down, you can get 12 feet.
Yeah.
With the, including the tailgate as, an extra 1.5 feet.
Yeah. No, this is fabulous. I really like, this is very functional and very, very usable. Again, I'm looking at it from, not a glamour car. I'm looking at it, when you buy one of these things, this one is glamorous. But as a rule, the guy that's going to buy a Silverado is going to be looking at it to, pay the bills. That's what I'm looking at. And this is this pass-through deal here. That's killer. That's really, really a good idea. Really good. I like that.
Yeah, there is no power button. So
Yay! Okay, so there is one big advantage over everybody else. I really think it's stupid to have a power button. Why do I need it if I got the key? I need 2 keys on an electric car.
Yep.
So I'm very happy to see that. It's got a minimum number of buttons, and they're the ones that I'd use the most of, so that's cool.
Yes, I am glad that there are buttons. The one of the things I don't like about Teslas is everything's here.
Yeah.
I like the fact that where if I'm driving and the defroster comes in, I know where it is and I can find it without taking my eyes off the road.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's nice. This does have heated and cooled seats.
Yeah.
Not so much heated right now, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty comfortable. And coming from my Bolt, where there was only enough of an armrest room for one person,
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I liked about the Lightning was the ability. Oh, it doesn't do.
It doesn't go fully back,
yeah.
but it does lift up, and then the cup holder here, it does slide, so you get
Oh, I got
to
lots of, yeah. I like the other one. I like the one feature on the Ford where I could, basically flip this thing and it turns into my desk. Because again, if you're working for a living, doing this on your lap with a clipboard sucks. Even if you're doing your computer and whatnot, I can do it sideways. I've already done it using that thing.
For the instrument cluster, you do have a little bit of customization for the trip. So overall, I've driven 1,600 miles. My last trip, it's been 900. And then if I wanted that information up on there, I can add it to the display, and then it adds over on the left-hand side.
Well, I like that feature. That is quite nice.
Yeah, and you can also get efficiencies. And with GM, they do have a developer program. So other people can actually create things. I don't know if that is if that's a feature that can be added in later by a third party. I briefly looked into it. I am a developer as well, so
yeah,
that did interest me. But I just skimmed over the documentation. They have 100, of pages of information. So,
wowzers. Okay, so I like the fact that it's got like the ability to charge in 3 different ways, and then I'm surprised that it's got a
cigarette
the old
lighter.
cigarette plug. Yeah. I wonder if they still use it. Maybe they're using that for diagnostics, because we used to, GM, actually everybody did it a long time ago. But it's kind of handy. You could, you don't have to dance around the car to find things. You could just plug it into that outlet, and away you go. And you could download all the information that's going on with the vehicle. If you're a mechanic, it's kind of good.
Yeah, it does have a wireless charger down here as well. I
Yeah.
found having the phone sideways, it picks it up, and you can see here there's a little
Sideways.
lightning bolt to denote that it's charging.
Why does it go sideways?
That for at least my phone, I found that's the best way to reliably get it to connect. If I go vertically, it will connect, but then it kind of disconnects after a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. It could be that just where my iPhone is placed, it's better sideways, but yeah, so right now you can see it's that little hazard connection there,
Yeah.
and that's just, right now it's not charging, but.
That's interesting. Okay, so Paul's going to give us a little details on, he actually worked on the electric motors, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so Paul is from General Motors, or was at General Motors. And I'm going to get out of the way and let these guys chat it up. So you're on, Paul.
So Andrew, I can't tell you how grateful we are for having a chance to review this, and having your knowledge of it as a personal user and knowing how it all works for you. That's just priceless. I'm really happy about it. To be, again, full disclosure, I did work on this, and so I'm really not a unbiased observer here, but I thought you might be interested in knowing some of the background story of the details of what's going on inside. This truck has 2 identical motors, one in the front and one in the rear. They are both, each one produces 375 horsepower, so for a total of over 750 horsepower. And you get that from a package that's only 37 kilograms of magnetic material. So that's the steel, the copper, and the magnets. And so getting 10 horsepower per kilogram is a benchmark in the industry. It's one of the better motors that are out there. And they did it by using a relatively unique design. I was there when they were first developing this, and they were testing all kinds of different electromagnetic designs. And on the computer, they're saying that the analysis says that this 96 slot, 8 parallel path design is giving the best results. Everyone else uses 48 slots for this 8-pole motor. So this was double the number of slots, double the number of conductors, 8 parallel paths. Everyone else uses 2 or maybe 4 parallel paths. So it's double the number of parallel paths in the motor. And this motor was intended to be, for this vehicle. It's in the Hummer, it's in the Blazer, it's in the Lyric. They knew they were going to be using this all over the place. It had to be high volume production motor. It's like the electric version of the small block V8. And so they were discussing this, and it's Dr. Khwaja Rahman. When they do this history of the transition from gas to electric in the automotive industry, most of the engineers are going to be forgotten, the ones that actually made it happen. There's a couple of people that I hope are remembered, and one of them is Dr. Khwaja Rahman. His electromagnetic design for the interior magnet PM machine with a bar winding. It's used in the Ford. It's used in the Tesla. It's used by Hyundai and Kia. These guys have over 30 patents on these motors, and GM has decided not to enforce those patents, and more power to them. It's good for the whole industry. But this particular motor, Khwaja was talking to Ed Kaiser, the lead mechanical design guy, Dr. Ed Kaiser, and he asked him, I don't think that this is possible. No one has ever done a 96 slot 8 parallel path motor. It shows that it's the best from an electromagnetic perspective, but I'm not sure we can do it. And Ed, and let me paraphrase him, I was in the room at the time, but he didn't actually say this, but what he did say was almost like, hold my beer. And he went on and just did it. And that team not only delivered the revolutionary design, the most complex winding in the history of bar wound electric machines, they did it on time and on budget. This vehicle was delayed, but not because of the powertrain. And this Ultium motor, the new small block V8 that's going into all these different products, is used in all these applications without modification. They have slightly different calibrations, and they put them into different powertrains, so the gearing is different for the different applications. But it's the same motor off the same line. And it's tooled up, and they hit all of the dates for the tooling. It's tooled up to make millions. So GM is ready to go, buy these and they'll just make more, it's okay, like Pringles. This motor though, when you go to 96 slots, there is one downside. It's absolutely amazing at 400 volts. But with 96 slots, you've got a tremendous amount of surface area between the high voltage and the ground and the stator, the steel. And at surface area, when you have a high voltage and a thin insulator and then ground, you've got essentially a capacitor. And so there's a little bit of capacitive coupling between high voltage and ground, which leads to a little bit of leakage. If you try to go to 800 volts with this design, GM would have to go to a thicker slot liner, and that will rob from the amount of copper they can have in the slot, and this may not be the best design. And so I expect that when they go to 800 volts, which may happen, that they'll end up with an entirely new ground up design for the 800 volt motors. But in the meantime, these motors are absolute beasts. They can take 850 amps RMS of current to deliver absolutely ungodly amounts of torque. And so that's the great way that they've done it. When I see great engineering like that, whether it comes from people I know and good friends of mine, in this case, like Khwaja Rahman and Ed Kaiser, I just want to cheer them on because these guys don't usually get the kind of credit that they deserve for changing a whole industry. And I'm really happy that things are working out for them. Khwaja, again, has now moved on to a great position at Rivian, where he's doing also amazing stuff for the Rivian team. Ed Kaiser is still at GM, cranking out amazing motors, and he's got a whole new team of Gen Z and millennial engineers that are just knocking it out of the park. So I'm really thrilled to see this motor in application, and proud to say that I had a little part in helping make it come true. So, and I'm really happy that you're liking your Chevy Silverado.
Yeah, loving it. It's yeah, it definitely has power. That I can tell you. It's, you know, just hopping on. You know, I haven't taken it to a track, but just hopping on the freeway, it gets up to speed pretty quick. And and also with the regen, it, you know, it soaks back up that power as well. When you got an 8,000-pound vehicle, you need it. So.
Yeah, it can launch it. And I expect to see eventually a heavy-duty version of this with the powertrain that's in the Hummer right now, but with slight modifications to give them better towing capacity. And so that's going to be 3 of these motors for over 1,000 horsepower. And so that'll really help you get down the road. This is rated for 10,000 pounds of towing capacity. And the fact that they chose a big battery for it is a trade-off. But the big battery really does make towing with this vehicle practical. I really think that both Ford and GM, and I'm not going to get into the F-150 versus Silverado argument, but both Ford and GM have made pickup trucks that are trucks. They just happen to be EVs. And I think that that's a great way to go. So I'm really happy for the GM team that produced a great vehicle, and I'm glad you're happy with it.
Well, let's give it a try and see what happens. I'm assuming I need
you
to...
pull back and then go down. Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's see.
And then this does have...
I like the turning radius. I can't do this with the... there's no way I would do that with the
Lightning?
The Lightning. It just doesn't like it. So we're going to go this way.
Yeah, this does have 4-wheel steer. So it the back does help out a lot. And
yeah,
we can pull up the camera here.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, like you can see everything. And when you're making the turn, you'll be able to see there's also a guide for your rear wheels.
That's great. Well, I will tell you that I could be wrong, but I think the Cybertruck is a little tighter. Maybe it's this. I'm not sure, but I know that it's quite a bit longer than, well, it's inches longer than this. But the Cybertruck is a dream to drive because it doesn't. It's not mechanically connected. I love that. You got a heads-up screen that actually works. GM was the first one to put that out. We had one of our guys, Dan McCarthy. He bought one of their cars just because of that. He wanted to be a fighter pilot, I guess. I don't know, but GM was one of the first to use heads-up displays that actually worked. Okay, so this is not as fast as on acceleration. It's not as fast as the Lightning or whatever, and definitely not faster than the. I keep looking down here because the turn signals are on the steering wheel.
Yep.
In the Cybertruck.
Yeah, we can't activate the wide open watts. That might give you a little bit more acceleration.
Well, let's see what happens. I don't like accelerating too much on here. Yeah, chirping and whatnot. Yeah. But that's about the same as the Lightning, I think. I would say if it isn't identical, it's pretty damn close. But right now, what I'm checking out is how bumpy this thing. This has got to be one of the worst construction jobs ever. You can see that the concrete is still, relatively new. It's only been here for 3 years, and but it's wavy like there's no tomorrow. Whoever packed this thing didn't do a very good job. So this is unfortunately that Volkswagen. All these guys are going too slow, but there we go. This is where this is my one and only test for bumps, and I would say Yeah, this I think this and the Lightning have got about the same amount of the same feel going over this washboard here. So I think that what we've got here is something very much the same as certainly the Lightning. So that's good news. And like I say, the turning radius on here is, well, it kicks the daylights out of the Lightning. This is, that rear wheel steering makes a huge difference. I don't know how anybody's going to stay alive in the pickup truck business if they don't have rear wheel steering, and that's a fact.
Coming from a Bolt, it definitely makes it significantly easier backing it up the driveway and getting it into the garage as well. So
yeah. Oh gosh, it's about going around here too fast. I'm just wondering how much it's going to roll. If the suspension's on sport, I'm going to assume it's going to be the tightest that you've got. So let's see what we got here. Oh, it seems to handle really well. I'm always wondering what's going to come at me from here, but the reason I like this is because it's really short and it gives me everything I want. I can get on and off. It gives me the feeling of what it's like to try and take curves at a higher speed. I'm only going 42, and the reason for that is this is a lot, it feels a lot lighter. The steering here on this thing is a lot lighter than what I'm used to. Yeah, I zipped around here in the Cybertruck at about 65, 68, something like that. And with the Lightning, I felt comfortable at about 50, 55, something like that. And it's got good takeoff, but it does feel very, very light in the front end. Well, all in all, this is, each one of these different vehicles, each one of these different trucks has something that's appealing that the other guys don't have. Nobody's got it all. That's for damn sure. Rivian, or sorry, not Rivian. Well, Rivian does have a lot of cool stuff in their truck. I didn't talk too much about that because really that truck is not at all like this truck. The Rivian is for, a sport driver, something for the average
off-roading.
Off-roading, it's really spectacular. Look at that. See that? That would have been a miss in the Ford. But now I'm dead nuts. Oops, I'm dead nuts, I'm sure. So this
if you go into, so that's in park. Yeah. And then it does have, a whole bunch of cameras. So you get the top down, this is the front, you get the rear as well, so you get behind you. Yeah. When you're in rear, it will not only do the lane, like where you're going for the front, but also the rear wheels as well.
Well, let's just try that, seeing as I've missed the mark here. As far as... Oh yeah. Well, that would be bad if I banged into our car. Let's see what we got going on here. Right back in the same position. Okay, so I probably need some time in this, but all in all, I think this is a great car. I think you're going to get your money's worth out of this, and I just, like I say, every one of these different trucks has got something I really like. Yours, man, the ability to put 12-foot boards in here and stuff, that's a good deal. I really like the back end. The styling is, I think, brilliant. It looks, it looks tough. It looks like it's going to get the job done. I like the instrumentation here. I think it's every bit as good as the F-150 when you're looking at just driving and making things happen. Yeah, I like this a lot. This is it's kind of cool. Yeah. I wonder if anybody's going to try and amalgamate all these all these different features at the same time. So
I think lawyers are going to get involved before that happens.
well, that's the thing that Tesla's got that nobody else has got. They don't have a lot of rules, and they don't have a lot of lawyers, and they have virtually no MBAs. So when you've got a situation like that, engineers are allowed to be engineers. And here's the only flaw I've seen. Oh, it isn't a flaw. It's
it's guided.
there we go. Because I thought for a second there it was missing, but it's not. It's perfect. But anyway, Andrew, thanks so much. This was really good. Thank you for letting me drive this thing. I must say I'm really pleasantly surprised. This really is nice. The seats are comfortable. Everything works as well as be expected. Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, other than the timeline of just how long it took to get it, it's everything I would have wanted from the truck. And
Yeah.
GM, they definitely delivered with this.
Yeah. No, this looks really. It looks like it's made to be. Getting 400 miles. Well, it's gone. But anyways, the Lightning gets us 320 miles or something like that. The extra bit would have been handy if I probably should have bought the extended range one, but I didn't.
Well, the extended range isn't here yet.
No, I mean for the Lightning. Yeah, but that would have only got it up to 450, I think. So it would have been about the same as this one here. But at the end of the day, this is great. It really is. So anyway, thank you, and thanks for watching Munro Live. We'll be back, I'm sure. Bye.